All right, guys, welcome back to the channel to another video. Wanted to kind of change it up today, give you guys a voiceover, me going over, how I warm up for this leg day. As you can see here, I'm stretching out the hip flexors. Me personally, they get really, really tight, so it's really important that I stretch these before I train, just to make sure I prevent injury and make sure I can push as hard as possible during each rep, each set, because like I said earlier in the channel, 2023 is my year and we're leaving no stones unturned, and stretching is the first part of making sure you can conduct every exercise right. So pretty straightforward here. As you can see, the leg that's back is the hip flexor that I'm stretching, and I'm gonna move my heel side to side and squeeze through the glute. Pretty straightforward there. I'm gonna jump right into some lunges here, just body weight lunges. I really like to start, I usually just go down and back and then down and back again. If the gym has turf that I'm at, then that's perfect. If it doesn't, I just find a way to do these without turf. It's pretty easy to do lunges and find some area to do lunges. So definitely suggest you incorporate these before you train legs, just to kind of loosen everything up and get those stabilizers working. So as you can see, I'm doing a glute and hammy dominant lunge down the turf, and then on the way back, I'm using more of a quad focused stance. As you can see, the knee is traveling over the toe more as I return here. And as I was going there, the knee was in line with the heel and not so much over the toe, which makes it hammy and glute dominant. These are also a great way to stretch and make sure everything is just primed to move into the next movement. So the gym I'm working out at right now doesn't have a normal hack squat. All they have is this linear hack squat. I think it's either called a linear or a vertical hack squat. Don't quote me on either one of those. I'm not very familiar with this machine. However, I have used it several times in the past, and it really focuses on the quads and is kind of hard on the knees. That's why I don't prefer this machine. But if this is all you have access to, then obviously take full advantage of it. Some cues here while I'm doing this first warm-up set. It's a quad dominant movement, so my feet are gonna be as low as possible on the platform, just low enough to where I can still go down and have some knee travel over the toes without the heel rising up. So if you need to work on ankle mobility to be able to perform this correctly, then do so, but the heel should not be lifting up at the bottom of the movement. As you can see, my heels are planted the entire time. This is very important. We don't wanna hurt ourselves. We don't want any lower back pain or issues. As I work into my working sets here, I'm taking about 3 to 4 minutes between each set at least. I like to make sure my body is primed and I'm getting the most out of every single set, every single rep, and having a bigger and longer rest period is pretty crucial for that. As you can see here, I'm trying not to let my heels lift up on the platform. If they do, then I simply just readjust and then make sure I give all my focus to the rest of the reps during the set. Hack squats are one of those machines where whether it's this linear or vertical, I don't know which one it's called, or a regular hack squat, you're really gonna wanna make sure you brace your core, and we're really gonna focus on letting the knees travel over the toes here. I don't really use hack squat to target my posterior, like my glutes and my hamstrings. I like to keep all the tension on my quads when I do hack squats. Like today, I'm focusing on my teardrop. My feet are close together, lower on the platform, my toes are pointed out, and I feel a great connection here. This is my top set right here. Actually, this isn't my top set, sorry. I'm new to this voiceover thing, guys, so just bear with me here. If you guys like these voiceovers, please comment down below. I really like doing these things. I used to do them a while ago on my YouTube, and I kind of stopped just because honestly, it's just harder to talk on camera and on microphone when you haven't done it in a while. So it's becoming more natural to me as I pick up on YouTube again. But like I said, comment down below if you guys enjoy these, and I'll make sure to pound out more of these for you. Pretty much the same thing here, guys. All my reps look the same. So that's key, is making sure every single rep looks the same, no matter how much weight you're putting on, no matter how much load you are using. So here I have 3 plates on this, and the form is exactly the same as when I had 1 plate on. This is a pretty good amount of reps for this machine. It puts a lot of stress on the knees. So if you do need to use some sort of knee stability, like workout accessory, then do it, whether that be knee wraps, you know, some knee sleeves, whatever you need to make it feel natural without having any pain or the least amount of pain. That is pretty important that you make sure you do that. Here is my top set, 4 plates. This was pretty heavy, a lot of load on my quads here, but I really had a crazy pump after this. You can kind of see my legs blowing up through my pants, so mission accomplished here. Really loved this machine all in all. I believe this is the first time I used, this is hammer strength, I believe. I think last time I used a Cybex one and it just wasn't the same. It was way too much pressure on my knees and I just noticed it hurt for days on end afterwards. My favorite machine during this leg day was this pendulum squat. Here I'm gonna make sure I'm doing the same thing. My knees are traveling over my toes as much as possible. My feet are super low on the platform. That way it is quad dominant the entire time. My feet are separated a little bit more on this machine just because of how it felt. You know, if a machine doesn't feel right, you guys need to adjust it. You need to make sure you're prioritizing, you know, targeting the right muscle groups, but still doing it in a safe way. That way we don't hurt ourselves. You know, this sport is all about longevity. And if you don't have longevity, then you're gonna be very short-lived and you're gonna be screwed out of luck in a few years. So making sure we're doing these things with the least amount of pain and making sure we're keeping longevity in the back of our heads is amazing. So, really good form here. As you can see, I was kind of struggling, to be completely honest. This machine was very hard. This isn't a normal like Arsenal machine. This is actually one that the gym had fabricated. So it's not actually Arsenal. I think it was fabricated a little too aggressively in terms of it puts a lot of stress on my knees, a lot more stress than you'd want out of a pendulum squat. That's why most people do pendulum squats versus some other machine, is because it doesn't put as much pressure on the knees. So all in all, great machine. Got an insane pump from that, and the mind muscle connection was out of this world. Moving on to some sitting hamstring curls. I struggled with this one a little bit. I think I just needed to move the seat, the back of the seat forward. That way I was locked in better, but we made it work. I felt every single rep on this machine. So all in all, a great exercise here. What I'm focusing on here is driving straight down to the ground. I'm not trying to curl my leg. I'm trying to drive the weight straight to the ground through my heel. So I'm actually pointing my toes up as far as I can. You can probably see here when I come back up. And then I'm driving through the heels. So imagine trying to stretch your legs out. So imagine trying to push your heels forward as much as you can while pushing them down. So you're pushing away from you and down. You're really gonna feel this, guys, right behind the knee. This will build that lower hamstring like crazy. If you're trying to target more of the glute tie-in and the upper hamstring, I would suggest not doing sitting hamstring curls and doing a lying hamstring curl. I personally feel that a lot more in my upper hamstring and my glute tie-ins, and it really makes me have that deep separation from the back on stage, which I feel like most classic physique competitors are lacking nowadays. You know, the posterior is what can set you apart on stage a lot of the time from different athletes and different competitors up there. And if you can have a strong posterior, great, you know, lower and upper hamstrings with a good glute tie-in, pretty solid glutes and a solid back, you're gonna win most shows or place really well, especially as you get to the pro league, because a lot of people are unbalanced these days, in my opinion. So if you guys have your thoughts about that, leave that down below, comment that down below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on the current pro classic physique competitors out there, because I feel like the standard for classic physique is diminishing a little bit. This last Olympia had an oversaturated amount of competitors, in my opinion, and I'm glad they just finally switched the rules today to not let you qualify off points. I think that's going to make it a lot more competitive and a lot more, you know, it's more of it's like a legendary type of, it's like a goal. It's like a dream for most people to be at the Olympia. And I feel like when they let people qualify off points so much, it kind of takes away from that. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked here. So back to the actual workout here. We transitioned from sitting hamstring curls into some Smith machine squats. I wish I would have recorded from a higher angle to get my feet in there, because I'd love for you guys to see my stance on these. However, we're about shoulder width apart here. It's quad dominant, so my knees are traveling pretty far over my toes. Probably should have gotten a side angle as well. This Smith machine was very unforgiving, guys. It was insane. So these are great reps. I felt every single second of these, every single rep. So I'm very happy with how these turned out. It got really hard really fast. We only worked our way up to 4 plates on each side, but like I said, this Smith machine was extremely unforgiving. So I'm very happy with that. Considering we did 5 sets here, I only got 2 sets on video, but I powered through it. Great leg day all in all, guys. I always end my workouts with some cardio, especially on prep like I am now. Super excited for what's to come to this channel very soon. So make sure you guys like, you subscribe, you comment down below any videos that you guys want to see. And like always, I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. And the growth of this channel has just blown me away. See you guys in the next one.